स्वच्छ भारत का इरादा इरादा कर लिया हमने देश से अपने ये वादा कर लिया हमने।
एक पवित्र सी हवा बहेगी
उज्ज्वल उज्ज्वल हो भारत
कोना कोना निर्मल होगा
विश्व कहेगा जय भारत।
जाग उठेंगे भाग्य हमारे स्वच्छ बनेगा ये भारत।
स्वच्छ भारत का इरादा इरादा कर लिया हमने देश से अपने वादा कर लिया हमने वादा कर लिया
Thane, Maharashtra. A city of contrasts. Slums in hilly and congested areas where no vehicle can pass. Mushrooming colonies. Booming trade and commerce. Swanky multi-storied apartments. And a river struggling to survive. But do you know what the lifeline of the city is? They are the municipal Ghanta Gadis. Every morning, these bells of the Ghanta Gadis alert the residents across the city of Thane. These bells are the lifelines of Thane's waste management system, collecting the discards from Thane's 18 lakh residents. Without them, the city would have no future. This innovative waste management step, along with many others, is reversing the garbage crisis which had begun taking a toll on the entire region. The municipal corporation collects 96% of this waste with the aid of the Ghanta Gadis, which are the small specialized vehicles or contraptions to collect garbage from narrow lanes of the city. To streamline collection, disposal, and treatment of waste, the city is now implementing an integrated solid waste management system, or ISWM, which refers to the strategic approach to sustainable management of solid waste covering generation, segregation, transfer, sorting, treatment, recovery, and disposal, with an emphasis on optimum use of available resources and citizen participation. The Sukh Shanti Chaul in Parera Nagar in Thane is located atop a hill near Thane city. Garbage collection from this area was extremely difficult for the corporation. During the rains, this task became a virtual impossibility. For 4 months each year, between June and September, Sukh Shanti Chaul's garbage would be intermittently collected. Waste would accumulate in the chaul with no means of disposal. This was a source of perpetual stench and disease. The civic body then designed a new method for daily collection from hard-to-reach areas like this chaul. Vinita Deep Gadekar and her colleague lived near the chaul. They go on foot every day with garbage bins around Thane's narrow residential colonies. As they walk through the colony, they whistle and ring bells to announce their arrival. The residents deposit their waste into their bins, ensuring that it is not dumped out in the open. This manual method of collection proved to be a simple and effective solution to Thane's collection woes. Once the garbage is collected in the bin, Vinita and her colleague take it to an auto tipper or ghanta gadi outside the slum and move on to other rounds. After making their collection from residential areas, the tippers head to marketplaces to collect their garbage. The shopkeepers of these marketplaces segregate the garbage at source. The ghanta gadis have separate cabins for dry and wet waste, and garbage is deposited accordingly into the respective compartments. This method of collection has greatly improved sanitation in Thane's hilly areas, which were earlier neglected. Once the waste is collected, the ghanta gadis make their way to the nearest garbage transfer station. At the transfer stations, the ghanta gadis from across Thane unload their waste. It is then reloaded into bigger trucks to be taken to the dumping sites. The process has streamlined both collection and transport of garbage from its source to the final dumping site.
थाने कॉर्पोरेशन के एक साइड में पूरा हिली एरिया है, तो उसमें पूरा डोंगर्स और छोटे छोटे रास्ते हैं, उसमें हर बड़ी गाड़ी कोई जा नहीं सकती। तो जो स्लम है और जो क्राउडेड एरिया है उसमें हम छोटा 3 व्हीलर्स या बैक पिकर्स के ज़रिए वहाँ का हम गार्बेज कलेक्शन कर लेते हैं। तो वो गाड़ी तो डंपिंग नहीं जा सकता, इसलिए हम वो ट्रांसपोर्ट स्टेशन में ला के फिर उसको हम डंपिंग ग्राउंड में उसको। तो उसमें एक तो हमारा कॉस्ट में सेविंग होता है और टाइम में भी सेविंग होता है। यहाँ पे लगभग 650 मेट्रिक टन पर डे गार्बेज आता है, वो 24 आवर्स में हम उसको लिफ्ट कर देते हैं।
Before the garbage is loaded on the trucks to be taken to the sanitary landfill site, it is treated with deodorants and insecticides to control pests and odor. In the plains, Thane is typically congested. Much of its population stays in narrow lanes and residential colonies. Even here, navigation through the streets for door-to-door collection of waste is a challenge.
इस बस्ती का कम से कम 45-50 हज़ार पॉपुलेशन है और इसका ये एरिया का जो है वो कम से कम 20-25 हज़ार पब्लिक है यहाँ पे। और ज़्यादातर लोग ये झोपड़पट्टी और जो चाल सिस्टम है उसमें रहते हैं। इसकी वजह से ये गली और रोड नैरो होने की वजह से इसमें कुछ कचरा कुंडी रखने के लिए भी जगह नहीं है। कचरे की सिस्टम थी, वो सिस्टम ऐसी थी, पब्लिक को जहाँ भी जगह मिली, खाली जगह मिली या नाला मिला, गटर मिला, वहाँ पे डालते थे। हर साल यानी 6 महीने में नाला पैक हो जाता था कचरे की वजह से। तो हम लोग वही सोचने लगे कि ये कचरा जो गिर रहा है नाले में या इधर ओपन स्पॉट पे गिर रहा है उसको कैसा कम करे। तो यहाँ के कॉरपोरेटर और हम लोग ने मिल के ये ऐसे सोचे कि कुछ ऐसा करे जो कचरा यहाँ वहाँ ना गिर के एक जगह कलेक्ट होके वो अपना डंपिंग ग्राउंड है या अपना कलेक्शन पॉइंट है वहाँ पे जाना चाहिए।
In the plains, instead of workers making their way to the individual doors, the residents themselves step out with their garbage. The ghanta gadi makes its way, clanging its loud bell, to a designated spot each day. The residents bring their trash to the ghanta gadi and deposit it themselves. Lakshmi Narayan Residency is one of the biggest residential apartments in Thane. The Thane Municipal Corporation took up the initiative of training both the residents and waste workers of this housing complex in the ways of garbage segregation. Bhavna Charpe maintains 2 separate bins for dry and wet waste at her house. There are dedicated dry and wet waste collectors in the colony. Every day, they go out to individual flats with separate bins of dry and wet waste.
7 महीने पहले एक महानगर पालिका और सोसाइटी का एक मीटिंग हुआ था। उसमें ये डिसाइड किया कि सूखा कचरा और गीला कचरा वो अलग अलग देना है। मेरा गीला जो कचरा है उसका अलग डस्टबिन है और सूखे का अलग डस्टबिन है। शुरू में क्या होता था कि पहले तो पूरा एक साथ ही लेके जाते थे। जब भी ये डिसाइड हुआ कि ऐसे करना है तो शुरू में बिल्डिंग के लोगों को भी आदत नहीं थी, वो नहीं दे रहे थे, तो बाई लोगों को बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, उनके हेल्थ के लिए वो अच्छा नहीं था। आज वो सब लोग सूखा और गीला कचरा अलग अलग दे रहे हैं।
Training the citizens of Thane to segregate the waste at the point of generation, that is, individual homes, has been one of the remarkable feats of the municipal body, as it has benefited them in every possible way and has helped them to keep the city and the overall area much cleaner and greener than before.
जो रूल्स बना है MSW 2000 के, उस टाइम से हम लोगों में अवेयरनेस फैलाने की कोशिश कर रही थी कि एट सोर्स सेग्रीगेट करो, लेकिन लोगों का रिस्पांस बहुत पुअर था। उसके बाद दूसरी एक स्टेप लेना पड़ेगा, जब तक सेग्रीगेट नहीं करोगे तो हम कचरा नहीं उठाएंगे। फिर कचरा जैसा कॉम्प्लेक्स में जमा होने लगा तो लोगों को लगना कि अभी कारपोरेशन वाले सुनेंगे नहीं, अभी सेग्रीगेट करना ही पड़ेगा। तो इस तरीके से हमको अभी उसका अच्छा रिजल्ट मिल रहा है।
Apart from residential waste, Thane has come up with various facilities processing different kinds of waste. The unit at Chhatrapati Shivaji Hospital processes organic waste discarded by hotels in the area into biogas. Every day, small trucks carrying organic waste unload it onto a conveyor belt in the facility at Prerna Bahuuddeshya Sanstha. Prerna Sanstha are the technical partner in running this biogas plant.
We have one receiving place where we are receiving the bio waste. It is being conveyed by a conveyor belt to the mixer. The mixer is grinding it fine, less than 0.5 mm or less than that size of particles. Then it is being sent into the primary digester. Primary digester, it will remain for approximately 3 to 4 days. Primary digester just makes the organic food preferably available for the bacteria to digest. Then it is sent to the secondary digester, wherein the secondary digester actually the gasification or methanization takes place. So depending upon the lifting of the gas, we will decide where this material should go. We know from the level of the tank that the gas is available here. The gasification would take around 4 to 5 days maximum. So we'll put on the fan which we have installed here. The gas goes there, it passes through a solenoid wall and a burner. The burner ignites the gas, so combustion of gas is taking place at the hospital boiler. The gas generation around 1300 to 1500 meter cube per day. The boiler is being used for washing clothes and their internal requirement of air conditioning.
Thane is known for its lakes and water bodies. Until a few years ago, these lakes were clogged with waste dumped into them. A large part of this was flower waste from religious rituals. To decongest its water bodies, Thane came up with flower composting.
We basically collect around 5 tons of waste per day, which includes temples, crematoriums and also societies. First process is of crushing, just to increase the surface area so that the composting happens fast. We keep it in the bins and we add culture to that. So when we process it, there is around 60% of loss in the whole process. So out of 5 tons, we get around 2 tons of compost. But we don't get it immediately. There is a process of 90 days.
First, flowers are covered with a layer of cow dung, mud and water. This results in generation of heat, which helps spawn worms, which hastens the process of decomposition. This procedure of converting flowers into organic manure takes 90 days. The same facility also has a processing unit to convert wood waste from across the area into a natural byproduct used in boiler factories. The briquetting machine produces quality briquettes without any need of binder or chemical. It compacts the raw material like wood chips and sawdust with the help of a high-pressure mechanical punch.
From the drying machine, whatever the waste we get, like the powder we get, we should have the moisture content less than 10% in that for the briquettes to have a proper form. And from that we have a briquetting machine, which is the main machine of this whole process, which converts these powders into a cylindrical blocks. So the whole idea of this project is to convert the city waste, which was otherwise dumped, is now converted to briquettes, and the same energy is used for the factory for their purpose, like for steam generation of electricity generation.
Much of these efforts would be spoiled if biomedical waste was to be mixed up with municipal waste. Hence, a separate process is used to segregate and process biomedical waste at Thane. Jupiter Hospital at Thane is a multi-speciality healthcare facility. The hospital carefully segregates its hazardous and non-hazardous medical waste.
Normally in Jupiter Hospital, we follow the 4 BMW color codes as affiliated and approved by the municipal bodies. That's black, yellow, red and blue. Yellow color has got 2 specifics. One specific is anything in cotton, with cotton, whether it's your mask or your cotton or your plaster or anything cotton that is used for surgeries. Red, all plastic, whether it's your saline bottles, whether it is your IV tube lines, whether it is your gloves that we wear. For blue, we have intact glass vials, medicine bottles, but then we also have sharp needles, we've got ampules, broken ampules. So for that we have puncture proof sharp containers where we put all the needles and sharp containers and blades and everything to the sharp container boxes. So these biomedical segregation is followed everywhere in the hospital for every patient, every cubicle and everywhere.
The work done by Thane Municipal Corporation in the management of its solid waste is a trendsetter. The implementation of simple but innovative methods to solve complex situations has allowed Thane to overcome difficult obstacles. It also demonstrates the effectiveness of citizen involvement in the process of waste management. Thane effectively demonstrates that a tailor-made system is the way to go with waste management. And while state-of-the-art technology can bring great efficiency, most often a simple innovation is all we need.